Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Yesterday, we talked about some of the great heroes of the faith who obeyed God when He invited them to participate in His kingdom. Today, I want to discuss a few who were invited, but who chose disobedience instead. One was Saul, the first king of Israel. Though Samuel warned them against having a king, the people insisted. God chose Saul as the first king to lead His people. It says Saul was a handsome young man. There was not a man among the people of Israel more handsome than he, and he was literally head and shoulders above everyone because he was so tall. Also, he was from a wealthy family. God chose him to lead. Samuel warned Saul and the people, "If you will fear the Lord and serve Him and obey His voice and not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, and if both you and your king will follow the Lord your God, it will be well. But if you will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you and your king." God couldn't have made it more clear than that. As with most things in our lives, He tells them if they continually obey, they will be blessed with His presence. If they continually disobey, then they will be going against God. And let me tell you, you don't want to do that. Saul experienced God's blessings at first, as God's Spirit was on him. But then Saul disobeyed. Whether in fear, unbelief, rebellion, or maybe all three, Saul didn't wait for Samuel, but took it upon himself to make a sacrifice before a battle. When Samuel arrived and caught Saul doing this, he said, "What have you done?" Imagine his disappointment. Samuel told Saul, "You've done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God. The Lord would have established your kingdom over Israel forever, but now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought out a man after His own heart." But it does seem that God gave Saul a second chance. But again, he blew it. Instead of destroying the Amalekites and all their possessions like he was told, he kept the best for sacrificing. Samuel plainly told him, "Has the Lord a great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifice, as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, to listen than the fat of rams. Because you have rejected the word of the Lord, He has also rejected you from being king." From that point on, God removed His Spirit from Saul. On his own, Saul proved to be a weak, foolish, cowardly, paranoid, fearful person, and history looks back on him as a bad king. If it hadn't been for David and Saul's godly son, Jonathan, the country would have been sunk. But God provided for His people. He thought Saul was bad, but he's nothing compared to Jeroboam. When Israel and Judah split, God invited Jeroboam, an able and industrious young man, a valiant warrior, to lead the 10 tribes of Israel. God told him in 1 Kings 11, "If you will listen to all I command you, and will walk in my ways and do what is right in my eyes, by keeping my statutes and commandments, as David my servant did, I will be with you and build you a sure house, as I built for David, and I will give Israel to you." Wow, what an invitation! But did Jeroboam obey the Lord? No. In fact, he was such an evil king, leading the people of Israel away from the Lord, that not only his whole family was wiped out, but throughout the history of the northern tribes, when the Bible spoke of an evil king, he was always compared to Jeroboam. It would say, "He did evil in the sight of the Lord, and walked in the way of Jeroboam son of Nebat, and his sin which he made Israel sin." Or God would threaten to make your house like the house of Jeroboam son of Nebat. We see that over and over. What a legacy he left. Just as we can learn from those who obeyed the Lord, we can also learn from those who disobeyed. God invited them to be part of His kingdom and to do something great, but they rebelled and went their own way, leading others to disobey the Lord as well. So as Joshua said, choose this day whom you will serve. Will it be God, or will it be yourself and your own desires? Tomorrow we'll talk about God's invitations in the New Testament.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. Also, if you'd like to share a treasure God has given you by doing an episode, please contact us. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you'll find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.